listen to me, because this moment matters. Not tomorrow, not some distant day when you feel stronger, but right now. This is the moment you've been waiting for, even if you didn't know it. The moment where the world stops spinning so fast, where the noise dies down just enough for you to hear the truth that's been buried under the rubble of your pain. You are not broken. You are becoming. I know the weight you carry. Intellectual, physical, mental influence from anywho. I do it. It presses against your chest, wraps its fingers around your throat, and whispers lies into your ears. It tells you that you're not enough, that you'll never rise from the ashes of what's been destroyed, that all you are is your failure, your heartbreak, your defeat. But hear me when I say this, those whispers are not the truth. They are the echoes of a battle you've been fighting for far too long. A battle that has scarred you but not destroyed you. And if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. You've stood at the edge of your own existence, staring into the void, wondering if the fall might hurt less than the weight you carry. But you didn't fall. You're here. You're still standing, even if your legs feel like they could give out at any moment. That, my friend, is proof that you're not just surviving, you're enduring. And endurance is the foundation of every warrior's strength. Because make no mistake, you are a warrior. You may not feel like it now, but warriors aren't born from comfort or ease. They're forged in the fires of struggle, beaten into shape by pain, and sharpened by every moment they thought they couldn't take another step. You are the hero of this story, not the victim, not the bystander, but the one who will rise from the ruins of their own despair and build something unbreakable. But first, you have to understand this. No one is coming to save you. I know that's hard to hear, but it's the truth. The world doesn't owe you a lifeline, and the people who hurt you won't suddenly turn around and heal the wounds they left behind. You've been waiting, hoping, maybe even praying for someone to pull you out of the darkness, but the answer has been with you all along. Does that terrify you? Good. Fear means you're alive. Fear means there's something worth fighting for, and let me tell you, there's nothing more worth fighting for than yourself. Because deep down, beneath the layers of doubt and despair, there's a part of you that knows you're capable of more. There's a part of you that refuses to give up, no matter how many times you've been knocked down. That part of you is the seed of a warrior, waiting to bloom. You might not see it yet, but you have a strength that defies understanding. It's not loud or flashy, it's quiet and unyielding, like the roots of a tree breaking through concrete. That strength has carried you through every sleepless night, every tear-soaked pillow, every moment you thought would be your last. And it's still there, waiting for the moment you decide to claim it. So let me ask you this. Are you ready? Ready to stop running, stop hiding, stop waiting for the pain to magically disappear? Because the pain won't leave you, but it can transform you. The battle you're fighting isn't meant to break you. It's meant to build you. It's meant to teach you what you're truly made of. And you, my friend, are made of something extraordinary. Your story isn't over. The chapter you're living in right now might feel like the end, but it's only the beginning. The warrior in you has been waiting for this moment. Not the moment when everything gets easier, but the moment when you realize that ease isn't the goal. Growth is. And growth only comes through struggle, through pain, through the battles that test every fiber of your being and leave you gasping for air. This is where the hero rises, not in the absence of fear, but in the face of it. Not when the wounds have healed, but when they're still raw and bleeding, yet you choose to move forward anyway. The battle has been hard, yes, but it has not defeated you. It has only revealed what you're capable of enduring. And trust me, that's more than you ever thought possible. This is your story, your battle, your fight to win. And the strength you need isn't out there waiting to be found. It's already within you, waiting to be unleashed. So take a deep breath. Let the weight of your pain settle for a moment. Acknowledge it, but don't let it consume you. Because this is not the end. This is the moment the warrior within you wakes up, stands tall, and declares to the world, I am unbreakable. Are you ready to take the first step? The world is waiting, but more importantly, your own soul is waiting for you to rise, to fight, to claim the life that only you can create. The struggle is real, yes, but so is your strength. And it's time to prove it. You've been walking through life carrying wounds that no one else can see, haven't you? Haven't you? On the outside, you wear the mask, the one that says you're fine, that everything's under control. But inside it feels like a storm that never ends, the kind of storm that tears through everything you thought was solid, leaving only broken pieces behind. You've known what it's like to feel invisible, to scream for help in silence because you've convinced yourself that no one will hear you. Or worse, that no one will care. The world keeps moving, people keep smiling, but you've been stuck in the shadows of your own mind, haunted by whispers that tell you, you're not enough, you'll never be enough. And those whispers, They've been your constant companions, haven't they? But let me tell you something. They're lying to you. Those whispers are the voice of the villain in your story. Doubt, fear, rejection, betrayal. They've all taken turns playing the role of your oppressor. They've convinced you that the pain you carry is a reflection of your worth, that the scars on your heart are proof of your failure. But they're wrong. Those scars are not a sign of weakness. They're a testament to your survival. Think about the weight of fear. Fear is a cruel master, isn't it? It wraps itself around you like chains, whispering that you're safer if you stay small, if you stay hidden. It convinces you that trying, risking, daring to hope, it's all too dangerous. Fear tells you that failure is the enemy, but in truth, the real enemy is the paralysis that fear creates. Fear has stolen opportunities from you, hasn't it? It's held you back, kept you in the shadows when the light was right there waiting for you. And rejection, it cuts deeper than any knife. Whether it came from someone you trusted, someone you loved, or the world itself, rejection leaves a mark that no one else can see. It tells you that you're not worthy of love, of respect, of belonging. It convinces you that you're broken, unlovable, and destined to be alone. But listen to me, rejection is not the final word on your worth. It's not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of who they couldn't see. And then there's betrayal, the kind that shatters your soul, makes you question everything you thought was real. Betrayal is the kind of pain that doesn't just hurt, it changes you. It makes you distrustful, guarded, afraid to let anyone in again. But here's the thing about betrayal. It's not your failure. It's theirs. The people who betrayed you didn't break you. They revealed their own weakness, their own inability to see your value. Failure has been your shadow too, hasn't it? The fear of it, the weight of it, the memories of every time you fell short. Failure whispers that you should stop trying, that the risk isn't worth it, that success is for other people, not for you. But failure isn't the villain here. No. Failure is the teacher you didn't want but desperately needed. Failure is the fire that burns away your illusions and shows you what you're truly made of. The real villain in your story isn't any one person or event. It's the voice inside your head that took all those experiences and turned them into a weapon against you. It's the voice that says you're too weak, too broken, too lost to ever find your way back. But that voice, it's a liar. It's not your voice. It's the echo of every hurtful word, every cruel action, every moment of pain you've endured, and you don't have to listen to it anymore. Your pain is not who you are. It's not your identity, no matter how loudly it tries to claim you. Your pain is the battlefield where the warrior in you is being forged. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, every moment of despair, they've all been shaping you, preparing you for the fight ahead. Imagine your pain as a raging storm, wild and untamed. It feels like it's tearing you apart, doesn't it? But storms don't last forever. And you, my friend, are not the victim of this storm. You're the eye of it, the calm and chaos, the force that holds steady even when the winds are howling. You may not feel strong right now, but strength isn't about never bending. It's about refusing to break. This battle you're in, it's not fair. I won't pretend it is. Life isn't fair. And the things you faced would crush most people. But here's the truth. The fact that you're still standing, even if it's barely, proves that you're stronger than you know. The fact that you're listening to these words right now means you haven't given up, and that's where your power lies. The villain, the doubts, the fears, the pain, they want you to believe that you're powerless. They want you to stay small, to give up, to accept a life of defeat. But they underestimate you. They don't see the fire that's still burning inside you, the part of you that refuses to be extinguished. You see, every struggle you've faced has been a battle in the war for your soul. And while the battles have been brutal, the war isn't over. The warrior in you is still fighting, even if you don't realize it. That voice that says, keep going, that's your true voice. That's the voice of the hero in this story, and it's time to start listening to it. So here's what I want you to do. Take a moment to acknowledge your pain. Don't push it away, don't deny it, don't bury it. Look it in the eye and say, you don't own me, you don't define me. You're a part of my story, but you're not the whole story. Because the truth is, your pain is a chapter, not the ending. The villain in your story may have been strong, but the hero in you is stronger. And the battles you've fought, they're not proof of your defeat, they're proof of your resilience. So hold on, because the storm will pass. And when it does, the warrior within you will be ready to rise. Let the struggles fuel you. Let the scars remind you of how far you've come. Let the pain become your weapon, not your prison. This is your battle, and you're not just surviving, you're fighting. And the warrior within you is far from done. Let's go deeper now. Deeper into the places you avoid, even in your quietest moments. Deeper into the shadows where despair sits heavy, suffocating, and unrelenting. I know you've been there. I know what it feels like to stare at the ceiling in the dead of night, your mind racing with all the ways life has fallen apart. It's like drowning, isn't it? drowning but no one sees the water. The weight of it, this despair, it clings to you like a second skin. You carry it with you everywhere, a silent burden that no one else understands. Every step feels heavier than the last, and sometimes it feels like the only thing keeping you moving is the fact that you've forgotten how to stop. But deep down, you wonder if stopping would be easier. If letting go, giving in, would finally give you the peace that's been so far out of reach. Then a jack-o'-lantern flashes beside you. Despair is a cruel master. It whispers to you, softly at first, but its voice grows louder with every passing day. It tells you lies that feel like truths. You're not enough. No one cares. You'll never get out of this. And the worst part? Sometimes you believe it. Because despair doesn't just take your hope. It twists your reality. It convinces you that this darkness is all there is. That the light you once knew was just a cruel illusion. Do you know what it's like to wake up and feel nothing? To open your eyes and be greeted not by a new day, but by the same endless void that has been swallowing you whole. It's as though time has lost its meaning. Days blur together, weeks pass without notice, and every attempt to move forward feels like trudging through quicksand. The harder you try, the deeper you sink. The voices of defeat play on repeat in your mind. It's a gift, David. It's a simple, ceaseless grip. They tell you that you're a failure, that every mistake you've made has led you to this point of no return. You replay the moments when you fell short, the times you disappointed yourself or others, and they loop endlessly. A soundtrack of shame and regret. It's exhausting, isn't it? Fighting a battle that feels unwinnable. And then there's the isolation, the way despair pushes everyone away, even the ones who try to help. It's not that you want to be alone, you just don't know how to explain the chaos inside you. How do you put into words the heaviness, the emptiness, the endless ache? So you retreat, hoping that if you just stay quiet, the storm will pass. But the silence only amplifies the noise in your head. This pain, it's not just emotional, it's physical. It lives in your chest, your shoulders, your stomach. It weighs you down until even the simplest tasks feel impossible. Getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain. Taking a shower feels like procrastinating. To simplicity has the mind been exposed. Suddenly it makes you realize what it's doing to you. Smiling feels like a performance. And hope feels like a cruel joke. Something for other people, but never for you. But here's the thing about despair. It's a liar. It wants you to believe that this is your end, that you're stuck here forever. It wants you to give up because that's how it wins. But I need you to hear this. Despair does not get to have the final word. I know you don't feel strong right now. I know you don't see a way out. But let me tell you something about darkness. It's not as powerful as it seems. Darkness only exists where light is absent. And while you may feel surrounded by it now, there's a part of you, no matter how small, that still holds a flicker of light. That flicker is your will to survive. It's the part of you that's still here, still breathing, still hoping, even if only barely. Yes, you've been knocked down. Yes, you've been broken in ways you didn't think were possible. But being broken doesn't mean you're beyond repair. It doesn't mean your story is over. You see, despair wants you to forget that every great comeback starts with a fall. It wants you to believe that your lowest point is your final chapter. But what if it's not? What if this moment, this pain, is the turning point you've been waiting for? Think about it. Every scar you carry is proof that you've fought battles and survived them. Every tear you've cried is evidence of the depth of your strength. Because here's the truth, despair doesn't come for the weak. It comes for the strong. It comes for the ones who have the potential to rise, to fight, to overcome. And it fights so hard to keep you down because it knows what you're capable of if you rise. So let's acknowledge where you are. Let's face the pain head on. Let's name it, feel it, and sit with it. Because ignoring it won't make it go away, and running from it won't set you free. This despair, it's a part of your journey, but it's not your destination. It's a chapter, but it's not the whole book. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the weight you've been carrying. Picture every hurt, every loss, every fear. Now, imagine laying it all down, even just for a moment. Imagine what it would feel like to stand up, to take a step forward, to reclaim even a small piece of your power. That vision, it's not a fantasy, it's a possibility. It's the future that despair doesn't want you to see. I know it's hard to believe right now, but you are stronger than this darkness. You've been through hell, and you're still here. That says something about you. That says that no matter how heavy the burden, no matter how loud the voices of defeat, there's a part of you that refuses to give up. And that part of you, that's the warrior. That's the light. That's the unbreakable spirit that despair can never fully extinguish. So let the darkness rage. Let it try to convince you that it's won. And then, when you're ready, stand up, even if it's shaky, even if it feels impossible. Stand up and remind yourself that despair is not your master. And this pain is not your end, because this battle you're in, it's hard, yes, but the warrior within you is still fighting, and that means the story is far from over. This is the moment where things begin to change. Right here, right now, because you're still standing in the darkness, but now there's a flicker of light ahead. It's faint, barely visible, but it's there, and that light, that's you. That's the strength you've forgotten, the fire that's been smoldering beneath the ashes of your pain. This is where your story turns. I want you to think about everything you've been through. The battles, the heartbreak. You've carried it all, haven't you? You felt every cut, endured every blow, and somehow you're still here. Let that sink in for a moment. The very fact that you've made it this far is proof that there's something inside you that refuses to be broken. Something stronger than the pain, louder than the doubt. That's your inner warrior, waiting to rise. But let's be real, it's not enough to simply survive, is it? Surviving is only the beginning, because deep down, you know you were meant for more. You weren't meant to stay in the shadows of your pain. You weren't meant to spend your life as a prisoner of despair. Oh, you were meant to rise, to fight, to transform. You see, every scar you carry has a story to tell. At first glance, they might look like reminders of your pain, of the battles you lost, but take a closer look. Those scars, they're not just marks of what you've been through. They're proof of what you've overcome. They're your armor now. Every scar has made you tougher, stronger, more resilient. They're not signs of weakness, they're badges of honor. And as you move forward, they'll remind you that you've already survived the worst, which means you're ready for whatever comes next. Think of your pain as a fire. At first it feels like it's consuming you, burning everything in its path. But here's the thing about fire. It can destroy, yes, but it can also forge. It can turn raw iron into steel. It can purify, strengthen, transform. And that's exactly what your pain is doing to you. It's refining you, shaping you into something more powerful than you've ever been before. The fire isn't your enemy, it's your ally. It's the force that will burn away the doubts, the fears, the lies you've been told about who you are and what you're capable of. And what about the pieces of yourself that feel broken? The parts of you that you think are too shattered to ever be whole again? Let me tell you something about brokenness. It's not the end, it's the beginning. In Japan, there's an art form called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The cracks are not hidden, they're highlighted, transformed into something beautiful. The same is true for you. Your broken pieces are not something to be ashamed of. They're the places where your light shines through. So, let me ask you this. What if your pain isn't a curse? What if it's a gift? What if everything you've been through has been preparing you for this moment? This chance to rebuild yourself into someone stronger, wiser, more compassionate? What if the struggles you faced were never meant to destroy you, but to teach you what you're truly capable of? I know what you're thinking, but I'm not strong enough. I don't have what it takes. That's the lie despair wants you to believe. It wants you to think that strength is something you either have or don't have, something you're born with or without. But that's not how strength works. Strength isn't about being unshakable. It's about choosing to stand up even when everything in you wants to fall. Strength isn't about never feeling fear. It's about moving forward despite it. Strength isn't about being invincible. It's about being resilient. And resilience is something you build, brick by brick, moment by moment, choice by choice. It's in the small victories. The days you get out of bed when you don't want to. The moments you choose to hope when hope feels foolish. The times you take a step forward even when the ground feels unsteady beneath you. Resilience is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. Every time you refuse to give up, every time you fight through the pain, you're building it. You're becoming stronger than you were yesterday, stronger than you ever thought you could be. Now, I want you to reflect. Think about the moments when you thought you couldn't go on but did anyway. Think about the times you were certain you'd hit your breaking point, but somehow, you found the strength to keep going. And the dangers you bear within you are the dangers that the world wishes to appreciate. Those moments weren't accidents. They were proof of your inner warrior, the part of you that refuses to back down. That warrior is still there, waiting for you to let them lead. The world has tried to convince you that your weaknesses define you, that your struggles are proof of your limitations. But what if your struggles are proof of your potential? What if the very things you see as weaknesses are the keys to your strength? Catherine Dice, think about it. You can't have courage without fear, resilience without struggle, growth without pain. The things you've been running from are the very things that will make you unstoppable. So let's stop running, let's stop hiding. Let's face the darkness head on and use it as fuel to ignite the fire within. Because this is your story, and you have the power to change it. You are not defined by what's happened to you. You are defined by what you choose to do next. This is the turning point. This is the moment you stop letting your pain control you and start using it to empower you. This is where you reclaim your strength, your voice, your life. The journey won't be easy, and there will be moments when you want to give up. But remember this, every step you take, no matter how small, is a victory. Every step is proof that you are stronger than the doubts, the fears, the lies. The warrior within you is waking up. Can you feel it? That fire, that power, that unyielding will to rise. It's been there all along, waiting for you to claim it. And now, it's time to stand up, time to fight, time to show the world and yourself what you're truly made of. Because you are not weak, you are not broken, you are not defeated. You are a warrior, and this is your time to rise. Take a deep breath, feel the weight of everything you've carried, every burden, every fear, every scar. It's been with you for so long that it feels like a part of you. But I'm here to tell you something that might just change everything. You are not your pain, you are not your struggles, you are not your failures. You are something far greater, something far stronger than you've ever been told. Let me ask you this. Who told you that you weren't enough? Who made you believe that your scars were something to hide? Who planted the seed of doubt that has grown into the lies you've been living with? Was it the world, the people who didn't see your worth? Or was it that voice inside your head, the one that's been repeating those lies like a broken record? Let's pause right here. Look that voice in the face. Feel its weight, its grip on you. And now, let me tell you the truth it doesn't want you to hear. You are unbreakable.